June 11, 2019. I'd like to call the Finance Committee to order. Councilors present this evening are Councilors Walsh, Councilor Boschman, and myself, Councilor Kushmerek. I want to apologize on behalf of Councilor Di Natale and Chairman Di Natale, who is waging war against his kitchen sink at the moment, preventing a leak, and he may be joining us a little bit late this evening. Councilors, also, Auditor Brooks is unable to join us this evening. So we have AJ Tarigny, Chief of Staff, if we have any urgent items that require additional expertise. If not, then we can certainly follow up after this meeting with Auditor Brooks. We'll start with recording of public meetings. I'd ask that anyone in the audience who is recording this meeting to please identify themselves by standing and stating their name and address for the record. Seeing none, we'll now hold a public forum. If there's anyone wishing to speak at this time, you may do so for not more than 2 minutes, and it must pertain to an item listed on the agenda. Is there anyone wishing to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll dive right into the agenda. First is 16719. Order that there be and hereby is transferred from the sum of $20,000, same to be transferred to Fire Personal Services Firefighter and credited to Fire Personal Services overtime. And we have a letter to accompany this. Dear Mayor, we are requesting a transfer of funds within fiscal year 2019 budget. This request is to transfer $20,000 from our Personal Services Firefighter to Personal Services overtime accounts. We are also requesting $18,000 from the Personal Services sick leave buyback to General Maintenance Household. These transfers are necessary to balance all accounts of our current budget at the fiscal year end. The funds in our Personal Services budget are adequate to cover these transfers. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Very truly yours, Kevin D. Roy, Chief of Fire Department. Councilors, any questions?
I thought I'd just say one thing. On the first one, the 20,000, I conferred with the chairman of the finance today and the mayor, and we're requesting that be amended to 32,000. This request was put in about 4 weeks ago, and we've reanalyzed the budget and what we're going to need to finish out the year. There is more than enough money in our firefighter line item due to a number of reasons, which I can go into if any councilor wants me, but involved firefighter that passed away and some firefighters that have had some serious illness and injuries. So we would just ask that number be amended to 32,000. The second 16819 remains at 18,000. This is all transfers within our budget.
Motion to amend 16719 from 20,000 to 32,000.
Second.
I have a motion and second to amend 16719 to reflect $32,000. Just to speak on that, I just received an email just confirming that the mayor has asked for and authorized this amendment, because as council we can't increase the budget, but the mayor is in favor of amending this order. Speaking on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries.
Motion to approve 167 and 16819.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve 167 and 16819. Speaking on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries.
Thank you, councilors.
Thank you, Chief Roy. And councilors, I apologize for the delay. Just without Auditor Brooks tonight, just trying to keep records of the, trying to keep the minutes as well. All right. Next we have 16919, order that there be and hereby is transferred from the sum of 21,000. Same to be transferred from DPW Highway Personal Services labor and credited to DPW Highway Personal Services overtime. We have a letter from Calvin Brooks. Kindly draw a council order for the city of Fitchburg to transfer the sum of $21,000 from DPW Personal Services labor and credited to DPW Personal Services overtime. These funds will be used to cover overtime costs associated with the additional pothole patching that will be done in June.
to approve 16919.
I have a motion and second to approve 16919. Speaking on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous, motion carries. $170.19, ordered that there be and hereby is appropriated the sum of $10,000, same to be charged against available funds and credited to Department of Public Work expenses, pothole repair supplies for the purpose of acquiring additional materials for pothole repairs. And the additional letter states that this is simply the materials for the corresponding labor that will be done on the repairing of the potholes. Counselor Boishman.
Question, okay. With this $10,000, you think we'll be able to cover all the potholes this year? With this
Just to cover
overtime?
the
Huh?
cost, this is just to cover the cost on materials at the end of the fiscal year that we're doing work on Saturdays.
Oh, okay. All right.
Motion to approve 17019.
I have a motion and second to approve 170.19. Speaking on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous, motion carries. $171.19, order that there be and hereby is appropriated the sum of $90,000, same to be charged against available funds and credited to DPW capital expenses equipment for the purpose of acquiring a skid steer loader with cold plane attachment. The attached documentation. I respectfully request approval of the mayor and the city council for appropriation of $89,190.53 from available funds to cover the cost of purchasing a skid steer loader with cold planer attachment. This equipment will be valuable addition to DPW's vehicle inventory, enabling us to mill cold plane a 40-foot wide, 40-inch wide depth of any depth into the pavement where there is a stretch of potholes, ruts, patches, and other pavement defects that impact the rideability of a street. Once the strip of the pavement is milled, the resulting depression would be filled with asphalt and rolled. Since we do not have the funds to fully pave all of the roads that need it, it would be provide relief to the worst areas of some of our streets. The quote, the attached is attached. Councilor Zarella.
Quick question, I may have misheard. Was the number in the letter different from the number in the order?
It was $200 difference, and I think that typically falls within the margin,
okay.
so.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure I hadn't, because I didn't hear quite clearly.
Yeah.
Wanted to make sure we weren't off
Is
by more than
is that correct? Yeah.
All right, motion to approve 17119. Second.
I have a motion and second to approve 171.19. Speaking on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous, motion carries.
Counselor.
Thank you, Gary, appreciate it. Next, we have 172.19, order that there be and hereby is appropriated the sum of $25,000, same to be charged against available funds and credited to school department capital improvements for the purpose of replacing a water main in the basement of Longs Joe Middle School. We have the corresponding documentation.
I think we already know about it.
All right.
We approved $100,000 towards it. I make a motion we accept 172-19.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve 172.19. Speaking on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous, motion carries. $173.19, order that there be and hereby is appropriated the sum of $16,900, same to be charged against available funds and credited to recreation expenses, building and grounds repairs for the purpose of replacing the roof on Park Hill Bathhouse.
I make a motion we accept 173-19. It's in my area and the roof needs to be repaired.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve 173.19. Speaking on the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you, Councilor Boishman. 174.19, order that there be and hereby is appropriated the sum of $14,300 $15, same to be charged against available funds and credited to recreation expenses, building and grounds repair for the purpose of repairing and renovating the flooring of Park Hill Bathhouse.
I make a motion that we accept 174-19. It's pretty bad shape down there.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve 174-19. Speaking on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries. Mr. LaRose, I believe that was the last item corresponding to your area, so you're all set. Thank you. That was quick and painless. 175-19, order that there be and hereby is appropriated the sum of $105,000, same to be charged against available funds and credited to police capital expenditures, building repairs for the purpose of construction of a new female locker room.
I make a motion that we accept 175-19. He's hiring more ladies and for officers, and I cannot see fighting that.
I was expecting some hard questions from the council.
I have a question for you, if that's all right.
Thank
How
you.
many female officers do you have now?
I had this whole speech planned for tonight. I wasn't sure. I was
If you want to go ahead.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Well, the police department was built in 1986. In 1986, we had 0 female police officers. I was fortunate enough to join the police department with the first female police officer in the city of Pittsburgh, Linda Swears. When we built the police station, we thought we were going to do well, and we made it accommodating for 8 female police officers. For quite some time, Linda Swears was the sole recipient, and she had a nice large locker room to herself. I'm happy to say today we have 8 female police officers working for our police department. That's a tenth of our department that is female officers. Looking at the civil service list, I'm anticipating anywhere from 2 to 6 females to come on in the next 2 to 3 years. This locker room design is doubling the square footage. We will have 16 lockers, and that should sustain us. But you never know. So, but this should sustain us for a long time in the future to come. It's a good problem to have.
It is. Thank you.
I have a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries.
For your support.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
176-19, order that there be and hereby is appropriated the sum of $50,000, same to be charged against available funds and credited to building contracted services for the purpose of digitizing building department paper documents. Good evening, Mr. Barbadoro.
Good evening.
And I have the corresponding letter. Dear Mayor, I am requesting $50,000 from available funds to digitize the building department records. The building department is required by law to retain all building records for the life of the building, and these records must be available upon request. The building department has thousands of unfiled plans and permits, which in their current state cannot be retrieved and presented without an exhaustive search. Digitizing the records would be beneficial to any city in the following ways: storage cost savings. The new City Hall will have limited storage for records. Digitizing the records will allow us to destroy the paper copies, which eliminate over 1,000 square feet of storage area. This will result in a significant reduction in the expenses related to leasing or building storage space. Second, public records requests. Digitizing the records will greatly increase the response time and accuracy of public record requests. It will allow for adding the records to the GIS, which allow customers to find their records easily online. And third, durability. Paper records are subject to wear and tear and water damage. Digital records can be stored on multiple drives for redundancy and are not subject to degradation. On balance, I believe that this expense will save money in the long term and raise the level of customer service for the city. Thank you for your consideration. Respectfully yours, Mark Barbadoro, Building Commissioner. Councilor Zarella.
Thank you. I just want to say I will be thrilled to see this happen. Ever since I came on the zoning board, I've been wishing that there was a way to just go in and look up past records, past decisions, all of that. So, will this include zoning records as well, or only permits?
It'll include zoning records as well, and it's my hope that we do it online at some point. It's not, we won't be there right away, but you'll have to come and ask us for a time, but hopefully you'll be able to just get on your computer and pull up whatever records you want very easily. In fact, if we can link it to the GIS, you'll be clicking on your property and all your records will show up, which would be
That would be
really nice.
excellent.
Counselor Coach.
Got one quick question for you. Watching 60 Minutes a couple weeks ago, and you probably saw on 60 Minutes how different places are going online with a lot of things, and then the hackers get involved, and then you cannot open your files whatsoever. You have to pay a ransom to get it. Are we going to be protected by that if I support this program?
Well, I have to talk to Trevor about that, but I would say absolutely we will have redundancy because the storage of the data is really not the big issue, so he should be able to have multiple drives with the same data on it.
All right.
Counselor Coach, I can, well, I can't speak to the security preparedness for cybersecurity. It'll fall under the same umbrella of every other system and data that the city has, so it'll at least be adequate with every other type of digital security we currently have.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Zarella.
On that subject, I also just wanted to note that I assume, again, I don't know either what Trevor's planning to do, but I would assume that at least one copy will be offline. And if it's offline, hackers can't get at it no matter what they do, so.
I think that's probably a very good idea that both of you guys raised, that maybe we should keep one, firewalled and away.
Air-gapped, yeah.
And typically with Mr. Barbador, I believe there's usually you have to retain the paper copy for up to so many days, weeks, or years, and then after which point you can destroy it and then only retain the digital copy. So I know often there's it's somewhere between 1 and 5 years, depending on if there's a financial transaction, and then after a certain period of time, you can purge all paper. Is that
Well,
correct?
actually, we checked into it. I independently checked into it, and so did,
AJ.
so, and Secretary of State's office says we can get rid of it right away, so.
So
Cut the paper right away.
if we can retain only digital, that saves us certainly on any physical storage space, which is always going to be limited in a city of our size. So wonderful.
Motion to approve
Second.
17619.
I have a motion and second to accept 17619. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries.
Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you. And lastly, 17719. Order that there be and hereby is appropriated the sum of $10,000, same to be charged against available funds and credited to mayor expenses promotions for the purpose of providing support to the Longs Joe Classic.
Make a motion to accept 177-19.
I have a motion, Counselor, if you don't mind, I'll let Mr. Terigny speak first, and then we'll entertain your motion.
I have no problem with that. He asked.
I was
me to
gonna take that, but that's the one time Bob's given me that chance.
I would hate to disappoint Mr. Terigny.
Councilors, the mayor is a strong advocate of Longs Joe Classic, and in previous years, the Longs Joe Classic has been strictly supported by sponsors and donations, and we certainly appreciate those sponsors, especially this year, with their help and assistance, and many of those sponsors are working on the committee to pull off the Longs Joe event. As you know, Longs Joe is going to be just Fitchburg centered this year, and the mayor certainly wants to take part in that economic development that Longs Joe Classic creates, as well as the Fitchburg Pride that Longs Joe does for us as well. So with that, he would like to see $10,000 go towards the Longs Joe Classic.
I make a motion that we accept 177-19.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve 17719. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Motion carries.
Motion we adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? We adjourn. Thank you, counselors.